Hi everyone. We'll be waiting before starting the webinar to accommodate for the rest of the attendees who are in the middle of connecting. My name is Valan Kalika and I'll be your host for today. Thank you for your participation and just a few. If you have issues viewing the stream at any time during the presentation and are using the web browser version of Teams, please refresh your browser. If you're using Teams, please exit and rejoin. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be shared publicly. We will post the recordings on our community at aka.ms/security-webinars. Closed captions are available during the live broadcast. You can enable it by clicking on the CC button located at lower right corner of your screen. During this time, please feel free to ask questions at any time by typing them in the live event Q&A window by clicking on the Ask Question button. Be aware that any However, if you prefer, you can post your question anonymously by checking the box right below where you enter it. Now, we often get many questions on these webinars, and we will do our best to respond to all of them. In the event, if the answer was not provided, or if you may have additional questions, please visit and raise the questions on our Azure Security Center forum at aka.ms/ASC community. If you're listening to the fact as a recording, that's also a great place to ask a question. Now, we love to hear your feedback on how we can improve these webinars, and you can do so at aka.ms/security-webinar feedback. And while you're there, please join our community by visiting aka.ms/security-community. This is the best way to ensure you don't miss any future webinars or major announcements. On our community, you can speak directly to our engineering teams that create our security products. You'll be able to influence our product designs and get early access to changes by doing things like participating in private previews, which you can sign up for that at aka.ms/security-private-preview. And while you're there, you can request features, give feedback, review our product roadmaps, attend in-person events, or join webinars like this. We believe that the best way to improve our products is simply by removing any barriers between you and the people that create them. So we hope you'll join us. In today's session, Meytal Taran Gutman will cover the Ignite 2020 announcements for Azure Security Center. That is, if you missed them, this will be a great opportunity. Meytal is the principal program manager on our Azure Security Center team. And without further ado, I will turn it over to Meytal. Meytal, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. Let me start my video. Hope you can see me as well. So great to be here and be able to share with you some of our greatest announcements from this latest Ignite in this September. As mentioned, I'm with the Azure Security Center team, and let's just get started. So what will I be talking about? Very short introduction of Security Center for those of you who are less familiar. I'm going to cover what Azure Defender is, if you've heard of it since Ignite and maybe noticed it in different parts of the product. I'm going to cover multi-cloud support that we recently added in different coverage areas in Security Center. And then we're going to dive in a little into the specific enhancements we added to security posture management and to Azure Defender specifically. So without further ado, let's get started. So we can't really start talking about Security Center without understanding the most critical challenges it addresses. Cloud provides a lot of advantages like rapid deployment and easy scaling. However, this is both a strength and a challenge. Specifically during these unique times of COVID-19, we see enormous acceleration of cloud migration. Organizations are moving more and more to the cloud and building up their environment. This is an opportunity, but also presents a lot of security risks. So visibility is key, especially in a dynamic environment. Visibility into your security posture and compliance. Attacks are getting more and more sophisticated, and overall the number of security alerts and feeds outnumbers the actual admins with the necessary background or expertise to be able to triage and react to them. So this end-to-end visibility into your security and compliance is key to staying up to date against the available security challenges. Okay. So what Security Center is Security Center is a unified infrastructure security management system, and it's built exactly to address the challenges I mentioned in the previous slide. It provides you tools that you can strengthen your security posture using policies, compliance, best practices, and measuring it all with Secure Score on one hand, and advanced threat protection capabilities on the other, and both of them integrated together in cloud speed to help you get secure faster. So the speed here is also critical, especially in such live and dynamic environments. So let's dive right into it. Azure Defender, this is a new rebranding we introduced at Ignite. And basically, Microsoft understands that the threat landscape is becoming more complex with increasing sophistication of attacks and wider attack surfaces. And this is a struggle for security teams to manage all these environments with multiple solutions. Microsoft here offers a unique approach that empowers professionals to use both SIEM and extended XDR, extended detection and response solutions from the same vendor, with an emphasis on integration. So teams can get the benefit of all worlds together. With this combination across the enterprise between XDR and SIEM, you can now focus on what's really important, and that is mitigating the threats, and spend less time on integration, on infrastructure, and scanning large volume of signals. Azure Defender is the part that protects Microsoft Azure hybrid and multi-cloud workloads. And it's an integral part of Security Center. So as I showed before, Security Center is mainly about two key areas: strengthening your security posture and protecting your hybrid and Azure cloud workloads. We're also leveraging Azure Arc, which I'll talk very shortly about, to extend our reach to other clouds and on-premises as well. So when we talk about Azure Defender, we have a very wide coverage. You can see here what is available and it's already generally available, and some of them are in public preview. We have Azure Defender for servers, for Kubernetes, for SQL, for storage. The recent one added is Key Vault, just released as GA. And of course, we have more coming. Azure Defender is not only a rebranding change, but also gets its own focus, new focus in Security Center experience. It has a new dashboard with a coverage area where you can see exactly how you're protected and what is protected, and see the gaps, of course, if not everything is covered. You can see advanced controls coming from Azure Defender, and of course, monitor the alerts and threats. In addition, we introduced a new experience overall in Security Center, a new dashboard, focusing on simplicity and key areas. So as you can see, those of you who are familiar with the previous dashboard, this is it's a slimmer and very specific dashboard, focusing very much on visibility on your environment. I will show you a demo in a few minutes, but you can see, first of all, how many accounts or subscriptions you have covered. You can see security alerts and recommendations. You can understand your score and your compliance state, and of course, monitor everything through Azure Defender and your asset management view. So as I mentioned, multi-cloud is one of our biggest announcements at this Ignite. This covers a lot of different areas in Security Center, and I'll try to touch on all of them, and I will demo it in the product right after. So Azure Arc, for those of you who are not familiar, is an Azure service, part of Azure Management Framework that extends Azure Management, specifically Azure Resource Manager, into resources provisioned in other clouds or on-premise on any environment. So right now we have Azure Arc for servers and Azure Data Services. And of course, there's also Azure Arc for Kubernetes, which is not fully integrated yet in Security Center, but will be in the future. So based on Azure Arc, we're able to extend all Security Center existing built-in native capabilities outside of Azure. So how is that done? Azure Arc basically identifies or helps the external resources to be managed as if they were Azure resources. So this means we can deploy Azure Defender very easily anywhere the server is server or SQL is deployed. We can install extensions through ARM template, through Azure Policy. We can deploy Log Analytics agent, our Qualys VA agent. We can enforce compliance. It's a first citizen in all the Azure portal experiences, same as Azure, any Azure resource. We see it as part of our Azure management. You can apply tags on top of it. You can filter on those. You can create RBAC on non-Azure resources with Azure Arc Assistant. And of course, all of these are leveraged by Security Center. And this is a short diagram that explains how exactly, I mean, not how, but what can be done on top of it. So Azure Arc connects us servers and data services from Google Cloud, AWS, and on-premise. Once these are connected, and Azure Arc is basically an agent to install on the servers, then you get all these levels of capabilities from Security Center. You just get out of the box security posture and compliance using the same assessment, same policies, and same secure score. You get all the server protection capabilities, which we know now as Azure Defender for servers, threat detection, vulnerability assessment, built-in, application control, and more. And you got all the automation and different management at scale capabilities, export data, SIM integration, automation, and trigger logic apps and other playbooks, etc. All the data, for example, including for multi-cloud and hybrid resources, is also stored in Azure Resource Graph. We use the same queries and the same experience. In addition to Azure Arc, we use native cloud service provider tools, specifically today with AWS and Google Cloud. When I say native tools, in AWS, we connect to Security Hub, and in Google Cloud, we connect to Command Center. And by that, we collect compliance and assessment data from those environments, which are mainly for PaaS services and network, etc. All of these come together into Secure Score to build one single unified security posture. So I'll move to the demo. Let me see how I do that. Just a second. Okay. Do you see? Can someone say if you can see my? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So this is the new Security Center dashboard. As you can see, I already have a few non-Azure accounts connected. I have 2 AWS accounts, 4 GCP projects. I'm filtered on 3 Azure subscriptions. I have this whole view in one place, very, very easy to understand what I'm looking at. I see my score is about 68%. I can see how many completed recommendations and control. I can see my top compliance frameworks. I see in just really fast my asset management inventory, how many VMs are not monitored, how many have health issues. And of course, I can see, which is the best case scenario, I'm 100% fully covered with Azure Defender on all my workloads. So let's dive in into multi-cloud. Sorry, you know what? I'll start with the Azure Defender. So as I mentioned, this is the Azure Defender dashboard. This is it's a new dashboard. We didn't have this area in the past. Basically, it focuses only on threat detection capabilities and advanced controls, which are part of the Azure Defender offering. You can see here your coverage, right? My coverage area. We're fully covered. I do see I have an agent problem. For example, I have 2 that missing agent, but from coverage perspective, I'm fully onboarded. I can see the trend of alerts and if there are any critical ones in the last 30 days or week or so. And of course, I can see all the advanced controls, such as, for example, advanced application control, just-in-time access, vulnerability assessment, of course, and others. So this really helps you to focus when looking at threat detection capabilities. let's dive in a little into multi-cloud. So if I go back to the main dashboard, I can either click on this or have the cloud connectors. And then it shows me the connectors I already onboarded. We're connecting either GCP projects, organizations, or AWS accounts and we're connecting them to specific subscriptions. This way it can be managed as any other Azure resource, even without installing Azure Arc. This is just for all the other compliance information we're getting from the account. I can see that all the connectors are valid. What's really cool that I wanted to share is when creating a new AWS account, I'm not going to go through the process. It's not. It's very simple. Though I'm just selecting an account, selecting a subscription as I want to connect it to. Other than the credentials, I have the Azure Arc configuration. Now, this is really nice because once you provide a service principal, it will use to install the permissions to connect the agent. We do discovery for you on all your EC2 instances in the account connected, and we install Azure Arc on top of them and connect them automatically. This is very similar to our auto provisioning of the log analytics agent. You don't need to take care of it. You don't need to go and install and run policies that do this automatically or whatever. We do it for you continuously. So if there are any new EC2 instances, we identify and we install and we connect them. Why is that important? Because once it's connected to Azure Arc, again, all the Azure policies you have are applied. You can use we automatically, by the way, onboard tags, and it's very easy to manage. So I'll show you how it looks. For example, if I go to inventory, and which is I'll show in a minute, which is we announced GA also at Ignite, and I'll take a look at. First of all, I have AWS resources and I have GCP resources. This is coming from AWS Security Hub and Command Center and GCP. I get basically recommendations on these, and you can see I have a lot of recommendations, right? For example, I need to ensure CloudTrail is enabled. I need to ensure MFA is enabled for the root account. I see the AWS information, etc. But what I wanted to, what I wanted to show you is how it looks like when we onboard EC2 instances for you. So you see here EC2, this is an example resource. I have the resource information, and I also have the, this is not what I was looking for. Interesting. Okay, so we have, I think I'm missing something, but basically we apply tags on that. If I go to the resource and I look for tags, so this is not one of those. I'm guessing this was enabled, installed manually. So I will, not sure I can find that. Let's see. Yeah, here. So this is a resource. This is an EC2 instance that was onboarded automatically by our discovery process. And we add by default these tags for the instance ID in AWS. We, of course, provide a tag for the environment. This is something that's going to be automatic for all. And the account ID that the EC2 is connected to. Something very new that is even was a little post-Ignite, so you're lucky we didn't announce it then. EC2s now, and based on Azure Arc, of course, so support vulnerability assessment. You can if you see vulnerabilities in your virtual machine, these are already coming from a Qualys extension installed on this EC2 instance. This is also extended, of course, to on-premises machines using Azure Arc. If we want to continue the exploration of multi-cloud, I can show you that right now, if you remember, we were at 68% secure score, and we had 3 AWS and 2 AWS accounts and 3 or 4 GCP ones. This actually already portrays the unified secure score for Azure, for AWS and GCP, everything I have connected. How does it look here? So let's select just this control, for example. So you see here we have a tag, a specific tag for, not tag, badge, sorry, for AWS recommendations, for GCP recommendations, and all the resources they apply applicable to. And this is part of the same secure score control that other Azure resources impact. So you get everything here in the same place. Hopefully we'll have filters soon, so you'll be able to filter out or drill into things you want to see. But this is how it comes together. So yeah, I wanted to show one more. Did the view switch or not? No, I'm guessing not.
You're still in the demo, yeah.
No, but a different screen, I think. Yeah, can you see this, the alert, security alert screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, so just to save time and without need to actually look it up, this is an example for a security alert coming from Azure Defender for servers from an EC2 instance onboarded from AWS. So you can see very similar to the alerts we provide on Azure. This one is a pre-attack. It's suspicious authentication activity. It gives you all the information, gives you exactly the step on the kill chain, and all the information about how many the number of existing accounts used and failed attempts and what was the account specifically. You can see here actually the detail. And of course, you see here how to take action, how to mitigate it, and how to prevent it in the future. You can trigger automatic response with Logic App and act upon this alert. Very similar, same experience, same even metadata, same concept as your Azure and hybrid machines. So you don't have to, use multiple systems, and you have everything the same in the same place. So let me go back to my presentation. It's really hard when I can't hear the audience. So I'm not sure. You see, it's nice. It's interesting. You're clapping. Okay.
It's been a great presentation so far.
Yeah.
I'm the voice of the audience.
Yeah, I can't switch to the presentation once. Okay, can you see my presentation? No.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's like that before. Okay, sorry. Let me disconnect and connect for a second.
Okay, Maytal is reconnecting here. So please, folks, if you have any questions, raise them on the IM channel here, and we have a team who is ready to answer all of your questions related to the product or any questions related to security, in fact.
I really apologize, but I have this weird bug.
No worries, no worries. We can hear you fine though.
Now it doesn't show me even the option to share my presentation. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the demos at the end. because it's kind of
Okay.
gets stuck. I don't see the presentation. Okay. One more second. Okay. I really hope this was the end of the technical issues. Let's see. I don't understand. Okay.
I will share the.
You're sharing my presentation?
No, I don't have your presentation.
Yeah. I'm going to just a second. I really.
If
Can
you
someone
want to
tell?
send it to me.
Can someone tell a joke or something in the meantime?
I'm seeing slides right now.
If there are questions, maybe someone can address them in the meantime.
Yes, we are taking care of the questions. No.
Okay.
So
I don't understand
what we can do. I'll go ahead and jump into the poll everywhere. Ask the question for the meantime, and then let me just activate this, and I will share the link with you guys here for the convenience.
Let me try to share something, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you see? Or can you see my screen?
I don't see nothing as far as content.
Yeah, maybe try sharing your desktop. And
this is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, if you
oh no, wait. Yeah, this is what I'm trying. Okay. Now?
Yeah.
Yep. Now we can see it.
Okay. Oh my God, this was one of the hard ones. I apologize. For my defense, it usually works. And I'm not part of Teams, product team. Okay. So we talked about a new dashboard, the Azure Defender dashboard, our new dashboard. And we talked about multi-cloud, so I'm gonna pass right through that. Okay, so CSPM enhancements. Asset management, which is available as part of our inventory blade, has been released as GA. We added the ability to search and add tags. You can export the data to CSV. You can continue querying whatever view you're looking for and maybe others in Azure Resource Graph. Everything is built here on top of Azure Resource Graph. And of course, as you already seen in the demo, you can see here Azure on-premises, AWS, GCP, everything that is connected and monitored through Security Center. Very cool, new, and very important capability customers have been asking for quite a while is the ability to more granularly manage policies and impact secure scores, specifically to dismiss or exempt findings or resources. So we added the ability we have an exemption capability where you can exempt resources from a specific recommendation. This means it doesn't impact your secure score. You have to have the right, of course, permissions to do that. But you just select, I'm going to show it in a demo after I'm done with the presentation. You select a resource or multiple resources, and then you click exempt, and you can provide a reason. You can define an expiration date if this is a temporary exemption, and it's either mitigated or waived. Either way, it doesn't impact the score, so it doesn't take points down. That's the most important thing. This is easily traceable. You can trace exemptions, you can monitor them. They are ARM resources, so it's very easy and should be monitored to make sure this is not getting abused just to increase your score. In addition, we added the ability to disable security findings. This is available right now. We started with vulnerabilities. So everything coming from the vulnerability assessment solution, either for container registries or servers, you can manage. So for example, common request is, I don't want to see security findings that are low severity. I want to disable a security finding relevant to a specific CVE or specific CVS score. So all of these capabilities you can now disable, and you don't lose track. You see them in additional tab, but again, they're not impacting your secure score. One really nice thing we added, in addition to expanding our community and tools to manage and consume the security posture at scale throughout our community, is a cool new Power BI report for tracking secure score. You can do it on any level, and it aggregates any subscriptions you select. And it's really nice because it gives you an offline opportunity to track secure score. You can share it with whoever needs to and maybe doesn't have the right RBAC access to Security Center. And it also allows you to track secure score over time, which is something we don't have built in the UI today. So this is really nice. I'm going to show you the example. This is part of our community because it's based on two key capabilities: ability to export the data continuously with continuous export and into your log analytics workspace, and then a Power BI template that just reads the data from that log analytics and builds all that analysis. In addition, we have a lot of custom policies, ARM templates, logic apps that you can automatically remediate, create tickets, or whatever process you need to automate. So you should check out our GitHub. I'm going to skip that if you don't mind, to avoid all these technical issues, and I'll just demo everything at the end. Some of the Azure Defender enhancements we introduced. I'm going to talk about container registries, Kubernetes, SQL, and IoT. So container image scanning in Azure Container Images is something that we already had. However, the vulnerability assessment scan was just one time when the image was added to the registry. So now we added runtime scan continuously, that runs continuously, and then you get every time you see only the last scan results, but this is something that goes on all the time. And so this is empowers the solution, of course. Azure Kubernetes, we added again runtime protection. In addition to the threat detection capabilities we had and the Docker CIS benchmark, we added specifically to AKS, Azure Kubernetes, admission control policies. This is based on Azure policy data plane capabilities and part of our default policies used in Security Center. And you can manage or audit very some best practices on top of Kubernetes. I'll show you a few examples. There are out of the box recommendations, and of course you can configure them just with using parameters. This is not a product, but a result of our research team. I wanted to share recently our research team introduced a Kubernetes attack metrics. And this is based on the Mitra attack framework. the same steps of the kill chain, from initial access, execution, persistence, all of those, and they mapped all the available Kubernetes attacks or vulnerabilities into this key metrics, and it's not that different from the known VMs, and it's easier to understand the vulnerabilities and where potential threat can be take advantage. So I recommend to look at this blog because it explains in detail each and every such a technique and vulnerability. So Azure Defender for SQL. So in Azure Defender for SQL, we already offer today both threat detection capabilities and vulnerability assessment. The new thing that was introduced is the ability to protect SQLs anywhere. This is on-premise and on other clouds. Again, very similar to the server solution. This is based on Azure Arc. And once you install Arc and you onboard that subscription to Azure Defender for SQL, if you have SQL servers installed on those servers, you will get exactly the same capabilities that we offer for Azure SQL. IoT security, formerly called Azure Security Center for IoT. Azure Defender for IoT now incorporates agentless technology coming from the acquisition of CyberX. And it secures brownfield as well as greenfield devices. So you can protect the entire IoT stack from the devices to the cloud. There's a lot of capabilities coming from CyberX, and they're integrated into the previous capabilities we had and available to onboard into Azure Security Center as well. Some of the items I didn't cover, but just to let you know, Azure Defender for storage, for file shares and data lakes went GA, as well as Azure Defender for Key Vault, and of course, Azure Arc enabled servers is in public preview, which specifically means the Qualys VA extension is now available in public preview on Azure Arc machines. I'm done with the presentation, so let me move to the demo. And hopefully I wouldn't need to present or represent again. Just a second. Okay. So let me. No, it doesn't let me. Unbelievable. I apologize, but I'll do it here. Okay, so screen 2. No, wait. You see my entire desktop, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good thing I didn't have anything really important. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things I wanted, to show you is the exemption capability. This is really cool and very, very simple. If I go to basically any recommendation, let me find something interesting. For example, DDoS protection. As you see here, I already have 2 exempt resources, so it's very easy to monitor. And if I want to, they will be shown in the not applicable here area. I have a lot of not applicables, but you see this one, for example, exempt mitigated. I can see it was mitigated. If I want to exempt another one, I just click here and create exemption, and I can set expiration or not, and I just give the reason and say if it's mitigated or is it a waiver. If it's mitigated, usually you explain why, maybe a third party or a different solution other than the specific one that is being audited here. And if it's waiver, then for some reason you cannot do this, and this requires an exception. Once you create an exemption, this creates another exemption resource which can easily be tracked. You can also automate, for example, logic apps or other automations on top of exempted resources. So you can send a report or do whatever you want on that. The other thing I wanted to show you is the ability to dismiss. So when I look at vulnerabilities in your virtual machine should be remediated, right? These are the vulnerabilities coming from Qualys VA, available as part of Azure Defender for servers. I see the resources, but I see also the findings. As you can see, there are quite a few. And I see here, you see the tab disabled findings. So I already see the ones that were disabled also a lot. The reason for that is because when I look at the disable rule, I already have a rule applied. You see, I have on this subscription rule applied. If I click on it, I can see the rule, and I see I have a lot of properties that cause that to cause these findings to be disabled. So when I'm being measured towards my secure score, all these are not taking into account, only these findings. Very easy to use. It's also available as part of our container registry vulnerabilities. Okay. I wanted to share with you also the Power BI that I mentioned. This is our GitHub. If you're not familiar, I strongly recommend you to. We have a lot of nice things here. This is available as well, a secure score over time report, very specific instructions, very easy. This is a logic app that on a daily schedule collects all the information from a secure score into your log analytics workspace. And then when you open either the PBIX file or from the Power BI online access, then you create a template. And this is what you get. It's really a matter of few clicks. So you get this dashboard. I only connected 3 subscriptions, but I can see my aggregated secure score over time. I can see it per subscription, and I can see the controls status over time. I can see the fluctuation and why it changed, if there were deleted resources, new resources, if the security status changed. So secure score can be modified. It will be impacted if resources added or removed, or their configuration changed. So sometimes it's important to understand why something happened. And it also provides you a view on your resource view, not only on your subscription level. I can see here all the controls, and again, over time, which is really something that you cannot do today in our UI. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is everything I wanted to cover. So maybe time for questions. Do we have any questions?
Thank you, Meital. Let's give the audience the opportunity. Whole EV, I'm going to share here the link in the IM. And in fact, what I'll do to open up this dialogue, I'll go ahead and copy Maurice's recent question, and so you can see it and everybody. Just a second here. Okay, I believe you all can see the screen now.
Yep, we can see mine.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it means, what options. So I think one of the key options is actually disabling the findings or adjusting what type of findings you want, or what type of vulnerabilities you want to be alerted on top. Other than that, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, thank you. We can move to the next one.
So no, right now everything is managed by subscriptions, and it also gives you builds the RBAC for that, to access that connector. So you can use any subscription, new subscription or an existing one, but it has to be an Azure. It has to be connected to an Azure subscription.
We've got a new one that just popped to the top there. What is the difference between Azure Arc and log analytics agents?
Yeah, there's a lot of difference. If I would compare it, and it's not the same, so don't take it as is. But if I need to compare it, it's more like the VM agent, the basic VM agent that every Azure VM has. That without it, if you remove it, for example, it's unmanageable. Basically, you cannot install extensions, even the log analytics agent, right? You can't apply policies. So Azure Arc, basically what it does, it connects the non-Azure resource to the Azure Resource Manager and creates it as a first citizen in Azure. On top of it, you need to install whatever agent you want to use. If you want to collect logs or apply different capabilities by Azure Monitor or Security Center, you need the Log Analytics agent. If you want to apply in-guest policies, you would need to install the guest config extension. So it's just a management agent. It doesn't collect data or do anything actively. Can we use ASC to monitor containers? Well, you can install, if there are native, you mean native containers or containers that are installed on top of server VMs? Because, so I would say right now, not really supported that way. We support servers. We might be able to extend in the future coverage as part of the assessment part. However, Azure Arc does support Kubernetes, or so it will be available, and it might be available as well as part of that in AWS. There's no concrete plan right now.
And then we have the that's ingested through the existing data connector because of, okay.
So Azure Defender didn't change any of the capabilities or the data. I assume you're talking about the connector to Security Center to streamline the alerts. If so, then no change.
Well, great. This brings us to the end, and a few reminders before ending the call. Please visit us at aka.ms security webinars for the upcoming webinars, and you have all the details for the registration there if you follow the links. And in case we missed to answer your question, or if you have additional questions, you can visit us on our Azure Security Center forum at aka.ms/ASC community. I would like to close this webinar by thanking Maytal for an excellent presentation. And thank you to the rest of the team who helped answering questions. And most of all, I want to thank all of you for being part of our community. And goodbye, and thank you.
Thank you.